So that's
Okay,
part of
I'm
your merchandise, the jacket?
This was given to us by Puma as a promotion.
Oh. Oh, I see, I see, I see. So, are you excited?
Well, we sell many things.
I know you sell everything. You're a great entrepreneur.
I also own my money bag logo.
Oh, great, great. You own a lot of things, right?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. So, Jean, are you excited about your visit to Mexico?
Well, you know, we have had a huge love affair with Mexico from, before you were born. The first time we came to Mexico, we were amazed by the cultura, the chicas, the food, the history. You know, we're next door neighbors.
Yeah, the culture. You live in LA, right?
Yeah, and over here, practically everybody speaks Spanish.
I know. And how's your Spanish?
And in fact, in California, the majority population is Spanish, and the #1 TV and radio stations all speak Spanish.
Yeah, I know. And how's your Spanish? Do you speak any Spanish? Because you speak a lot of languages.
I speak Hungarian, Hebrew, English, and German. Very, very little Japanese.
Okay.
And I used to be the assistant for the Puerto Rican Interagency Council in New York. So the Spanish I learned are not nice words.
Like cabrón, or what else?
No. Maricón la tuyo, you know, like that.
Okay,
and,
okay.
Well, you asked me, so.
Of course.
When people speak Spanish, I can understand.
If I speak you in Spanish, you can understand?
Not enough for
an
interview. But if you're on an elevator and two people are speaking Spanish,
you get it. And you speak Hebrew. You were born in Israel. אני מדברת קצת.
יופי.
יפה מאוד.
You know, in Hebrew, there's a male good and female good. It's very strange.
Okay. So
Yafe meod means very nice or very good.
Very nice. Okay. And how do you say when someone is like a beautiful woman? It's like yafe? No?
In any language.
Do it again. Wow. So you were born in Israel, but you were very young when you moved to the States, right?
Yeah, that's right. Came here when I was 8.5. My mother was born in Hungary, and went to school, did all that, learned languages, because if you saw a girl from another country, it was better if you talked to her in her language.
Of course.
You know how it is. You're a girl.
I'm a girl, of course. So, yeah, you're right. What about Japanese? Is it a difficult language to learn?
You have to get rid of what you think you know. Goki ken kage desu ka? Watashi wa jin chiwans desu. So I can teach you a little bit right away. So there's a state in America called Ohio.
Ohio.
Can you say it?
Ohio.
You just said good morning.
Oh, Ohio. It's 2 hours earlier, actually, in LA, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So you've had a very interesting life, Jean. You were born.
Every day is so amazing. In fact, yesterday we flew in from Tokyo.
Oh, just yesterday?
Yeah, the day before that we played the stadium there in Tokyo, and it was amazing. You can go on YouTube and see it and all that. It was just amazing.
Of course I will. And then Mexico, right? Next Sunday.
That's right. Mexico Sunday, there's going to be so many great bands, a full day of rocking out, a full day, more importantly, of forgetting about the traffic jam, forgetting about politics, forgetting about your girlfriend who's screaming at you because there's a pretty girl over there and you're looking the wrong way. You forget all the problemas.
All the problemas.
That's right.
What
and I
kind-
like the way you don't pronounce the B as much as problemas.
It's soft. Problemas.
The problemas. And also trabajo.
Trabajo.
You don't say trabajo.
No,
And
trabajo.
I understand. I hear the different accents all up and down Central and South America. In Argentina, they should do a lot of shush. No, I hear
Exactly. Do you like soccer? Do you like football, soccer?
Oh, of course. Who doesn't like lots of men wearing small shorts?
Running all over the place.
And everything jumping up and down. Yes, of course.
Yeah. The States
Of
has
course,
been
it's
good.
great. And recently, the U.S. and Mexico have both been doing very well.
No, Mexico, no.
They weren't doing well?
No, we're very disappointed. It's been a while since Mexico.
But at least in Mexico, you don't kill your soccer players. Some countries, if they don't win, they kill them.
Of course, yeah. I was just talking about that this morning. That's terrible.
Colombia, Iraq, a few other places.
Yeah. But you like better, what do you watch? What sports do you like better? Like American football or baseball?
Girls.
Always girls. That's your favorite sport, right?
Well, ever since we were born, we chase them. And now that I'm married, I chase my wife. Just always
that's
chase.
right. You've been married for
Because-
how long?
Well, we've been together 39 years.
Wow.
But been married only about 10,
Okay.
because for 29 years, I was an asshole. You want me to explain to you what that means?
I know what an asshole means, but
Yes, that means it's called men.
Yeah. All men are the same, you think?
No question.
No
question about it.
Really?
No. Before we learn to speak, we speak like this. Arr, arr. That's how we speak. Yeah.
Now, how did he get along all these 29 years, you being an asshole? I mean, she must love you very much.
I happened to meet an angel. I happened to meet a person who's amazing, Shannon, who put up with so much of my crap for so long and stayed with me. I don't know why. If I was her, I would have left the first year.
Really?
But I think women are like that. You have the capacity for love, and we don't use that word a lot. I mean, we use it in different ways. I love soccer. I love hot dogs.
Yeah, but it's
I love
another
this.
thing. Yeah.
But it's another thing when a woman says "I love you." It's everything.
Actually, in Spanish, we have different words for that. It's not the same.
Mi corazón,
My heart. Yeah,
My
but
heart.
for example, if when I say, do you love soccer? We say, do you like soccer? Just like in the States. And when you love someone, it's yo te quiero. It's like I want you, I love you, you know? Te quiero,
Yeah.
te amo, te adoro. There are many words for that.
Te adoro, yeah. I
Yeah.
adore you, yeah. It's
Yeah.
some words in English and Spanish
pretty
are
much
very
alike.
close.
Yeah, pretty much alike. But it's different when you say, do you love soccer or you love a girl? It's different, right?
Yeah,
If
that's
you
right.
love a woman.
But I figured out a long time ago, I wake up in the morning and I say, I'm sorry, and then the rest of the day is fine.
Like Yom Kippur, right? for the rest
every
of
day.
the year.
That's right. Exactly right. Just if it's sunshine or red, today it's raining, I say I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
And then it's okay.
For whatever is coming in the day. Yeah, that's a good way.
And all men have to understand. If you have a conversation with somebody you love, if it's a girl, if she's right, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm wrong. and if we're both wrong, I'm wrong. There's no winning.
There's no winning. She always has the last word.
You have to. Oh no! Don't have the last word. Don't talk. As a matter of fact, just listen.
Exactly. Just listen.
And some men die younger than their wives because they want to.
Why?
Because they want to.
Okay, they want to die. That's enough.
Because it says rest in peace over the head.
Exactly. No, but I mean, it's amazing you've been together for so long, really. No?
She's amazing. And both of our kids, Nick and Sophie, very successful.
What do they do? What do they do?
Well, if you go to Spotify and you look up Sophie Simmons, you'll see hundreds of songs. She's very successful. She writes and sings and produces for Deadmau5, Rick Ross. They're rappers and new music, and very successful. And she has billboards all over the world. Sophie Simmons. And Nick Simmons also has music in a band and very successful, completely different. His music is in TV shows like in America, Prodigal Son and Ozark. They're big international shows.
Ozark. Oh, yeah. Wow. What about the business? They're not into business? Like you, for example?
Well, of course. So Nick and Steven Tyler's daughter are both starting a podcast, which is going to be a big success. And Sophie, of course, models around the world. She's got, they have lots of different businesses.
Yeah, that I knew, that she modeled.
We have nothing to do with it. They do it themselves. They pick up the phone, they work on the agents, they find out where the gold is in the mountains, and then they go and they dig up the gold.
Yeah. And do you ever go to Israel? Often? Do you go often to Israel?
We just went once.
That's it?
With our TV show. We had a TV show called Gene Simmons Family Jewels.
Yeah.
That lasted 8 years and 167 episodes. And we visited back there, and I took Nick, and we rode camels, and we went up into, where I was born and all that.
Yeah,
it was an amazing trip.
Where were you born in Israel?
A place called Haifa.
In Haifa, of course. Yeah.
You don't have that sound. And we also walked. They have a historical idea of where Jesus walked, and where he put his hand on the wall, and when he fell down, and they have an inscription. So people come there, and they put their hand in the imprint.
Yeah.
And historians and scientists say that's where it happened. And so people line up, thousands and thousands of people, and we walked in the steps of Jesus and put our hand in the thing. Yeah, it's quite an amazing.
Amazing.
That place is, no place in the world is like that.
I know. And Haifa is a beautiful city, no? Very beautiful city.
The reason Haifa is beautiful and a few miles away it's not is because in Haifa you have Jews, Christians, Muslims, Baha'i faith, Greek Orthodox, all the religions of the world walk next to each other. They go to churches, mosques, they're right there. And if you go across to the other side, even if you're Muslim, if you don't believe in the same way, they kill you.
Of course. Just like in Jerusalem, no?
In Jerusalem, on the Jerusalem side, on the Israeli side, everybody gets along No matter, you can dress any way you want. You can wear crucifixes.
Yeah, of course, they have learned
Muslim
to
things.
live together. Yeah.
Complete freedom.
Yeah.
And we better learn that lesson everywhere in the world, that no matter how different we are or how different we believe from each other, we live on the same world. You know, when you buy a peso, when you have a peso, you notice that there are different sides, and they don't look like the same thing, but they're still part of the same peso.
Part of each other. Yeah.
And you know, judeos, and I'm one, sing a little differently. You say eso beso, we sing eso peso. You see, that's a little different.
By the way, what do you think of Kanye West and everything he's been saying about Hitler and the Jewish?
I don't believe he's evil, but I think he's a sick person. He said that, what can we say? You have to take your medicine, otherwise he says crazy things. So a lot of times I'm told he doesn't take his medicine. He has to take the medicine every day.
Every day.
And that's not even a joke. So I don't think he's a bad person, but if he doesn't take his medicine, you know, he sounds crazy.
Yeah, he has to take his meds. That's what you're saying, yeah.
Yes, he does.
I'm talking about meds. You're one of the few people, your generation and your music generation, Gene, that you've kept yourself so clean regarding drugs and everything. I mean, no drugs, no alcohol. How did you get away? You escaped from that because, I mean, it was the time of sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Oh, more today than ever.
More today than ever. There are more options.
And now there's fentanyl, and they give the kids just a little bit, you taste it, and you're forever thing.
Addicted forever,
And the reason I never got high, except in a doctor's office, you know, when they put you out, and never smoked cigarettes and never been drunk, even though I have a vodka that I put out that has this logo.
Really? The vodka? Good.
The bottle is shaped like that, so it's very beautiful.
Good to know.
But my mother was in the concentration camps of Nazi Germany in World War II.
Yeah.
And our whole family was killed, so I never wanted to break her heart. And I know after all the hard work that she did giving me birth and working, because my father left when I was about 7 years old. And then my mother did the rest. One mother, one child, she did it all. I never wanted to break her heart. I know if I didn't have my mother, I would go to the dark side right away. And proof positive that her way worked is that at 73, yes, I still have hair.
Oh, it's your own hair?
Of course.
Show me. Of course. Great.
The reason, but I got sick and tired of wearing my hair down.
Okay, so you make a ponytail.
Well, you know, that's what chicas do, right?
Of course,
you go to the gym where you walk around, you tie it back. It takes you a long time to do that.
Yeah.
So I said, forget about it. But the point I'm making, though, is I'm 73 now, still feel good, strong, we do great shows, is if you don't put crap into your body, you can be my age and put your hand in front of your face, and it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
You see, you can put your hand in front of your face, and it doesn't shake.
Yeah.
So it's like your car. You need good fuel for the car to run well. And if you put a little sand, a little dirt in the fuel, the car is going to die.
Yeah.
There's no difference. It's exactly the same. I understand
Explain me Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, for example.
Well, Mick,
they're alive and amazing.
There is such a thing as genetics, your DNA.
Yeah.
So Mick, I understand, uses or has less. Keith used a lot more. So if you take a look at the photos, you will make your own judgment.
Yeah, you do look amazing. Do you exercise?
I don't mean me. I mean between Keith and Mick.
Yeah, I know. Between them, yeah.
But look, why take the chance?
Why taking the chance? Yeah, and it's a very
what
good.
Do you get?
It's a very good example because
what do you get? Here's what I mean. I would understand it if they tell me if I take drugs, or if I smoke cigarettes, or if I get drunk, my schmeckel will get much bigger. That's the schmeckel.
I know. I don't know what the how they are gonna translate that, but yeah.
Well,
I know what it is.
It's a funny way of saying it. You get smarter, or you get much richer. You can run faster. Everything, your health is better, but nothing happens.
Nothing.
In fact, it's
nothing
worse
good
for you.
happens.
So,
I know.
And for a judeo, and it costs money. No. It doesn't work.
It costs a lot of money, I've heard. Yeah.
And once you get drunk or high, you're going to throw up on the shoes that your girlfriend just bought.
$2,000 shoes. Eh?
And if you drink enough, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
Comprende?
Comprende muy bien. Comprende muy bien. It's not a good idea at all. But it was the time of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So you went into the sex.
Sex is okay. Rock and roll is okay. Sex is okay. Drugs is not okay. It's not smart.
It's not a smart thing to do. I know and no. I understand. And it doesn't have to be related to rock and roll. That's what you're saying, no?
In life, in anything. Look, everybody is allowed to do whatever they want to do. And if you want to jump off a cliff, it's your decision.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's a myth that all, like, drugs have to be related to rock and roll?
Well, it's just that rock and roll people in bands get a lot more attention.
Yeah.
And so if you're a plumber or you're a dentist, nobody cares. You don't wind up in the newspapers.
Of course.
But yeah, so if they use drugs and they pass out and they get fired from their jobs, we don't hear about it.
Yeah.
But if somebody has to go to Switzerland to get a new drug transfusion, a new transfusion of blood because they're drug addicts, then you read about it. So it becomes sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah, but you had a lot of sex with a lot of women.
That's what I read.
Is it true you keep a picture of all the women you slept with? Is that true?
The God's honest truth is for, I don't know, about 40 years, something like that, or longer. I was an asshole, and I took photos of like a tourist. If you went someplace,
you take a picture.
Photo.
Okay.
But when I decided to stop being an asshole, because only you can decide to stop being an asshole or a drug addict or anything, and anything can be a drug. You can. Girls can be a drug, and you can be an addict for almost anything. Doesn't have to be. You can be a food addict.
Of course,
you can be
a sex addict, whatever.
Yeah. Right. So even though somebody who loves you says, "Don't do this. You're hurting me. You're hurting the family."
It has to be.
When you're an addict, you don't listen to anybody because you're sick. You're sick in here. And so when I decided to finally stop everything that's stupid, that hurts Shannon and the family. Together, Shannon and I burned all the photos.
All together?
Together.
Wow. Wow,
we took them all, and there were thousands.
Thousands of pictures.
We had a big fire, and we put it on our show. We put a big fire, and I gave her everything.
Okay.
And she never left me, and she's still right here in the next room. Can you believe that?
No, that's amazing. It's an amazing story. And when was that? 10 years ago that you decided to stop being an asshole?
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was a decision because you knew you were hurting your wife, your family.
You don't know that it's the right thing until you do it. Because when somebody's an addict, they can't imagine that life without would be as much fun, or you're happier. Yeah.
A better life.
It's better. But women were always smarter than men. You always knew sooner or later it has to become about family and about kids. But when you're 20 years old, that sounds, to a guy, it sounds stupid. What are you talking about? Whoopee! You wanna
Let's have fun.
But there's smart fun. The fun of somebody who cares about you, because nobody cares about you. The only people who care about you
is family.
Is the one. That's right. Always.
Always.
Somebody who would give their life for you. Only your family.
You have no.
If I talked like this when I was 20 or 30, like that, I would say, I don't care about that. Whoopee!
What are you talking about? Yeah, I know. But we get smarter with years, right? With age.
Well, women do. Men take a long time.
Much longer, I guess.
Because we're arrogant and we're selfish. And because that's how, we're little boys, and all we know is to compete against the other little boys. Yeah. Who's taller, who's bigger, who's stronger, who has more girls, who has
it bigger also.
Oh yeah, that's part of it.
That's part of it, yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is, girls are attracted to that.
Do you think
Who's gonna? There's no question. From the time when the woman would sit back in the cave, and the two cavemen would hit each other, and if there were 10 guys fighting over her, she would love that.
Yeah, she will go with the winner.
The winner.
Yeah, of course. Now, when did your love for music started? At what age, Gene?
When we came to America, we came here in 1958. This is before the Beatles or anything, and the first music I heard was black music. I heard Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Fats Domino, all the originals who created rock and roll, jazz, blues, that kind of music.
That kind of music.
That came from American slaves. It came from black people when they were slaves in America. And it wasn't from what they call the Renaissance or symphony orchestras. It came from people who had really bad lives because they were slaves.
And they started to sing,
came from that, yes. And they started to sing about the problems, and they taught themselves how to play guitar. And I mentioned Chuck Berry first because when Chuck Berry passed away, the Chuck Berry family asked me to do the eulogy at the funeral.
Wow.
And it was very, very emotional. I started crying like a little baby. Because if it wasn't for Chuck Berry playing the way he played, moving this pinky, you play a chord, and then he would move that pinky back and that kind of playing, and so if it wasn't for his style of playing, there would be no rock and roll. There would be no Stones, no Beatles. There would be no El Tigre del Norte. There wouldn't be Maná or Juanes. They would be a different kind of music. When you play rock or rock-inspired stuff, that's all Chuck Berry.
Okay.
And you know, for me, I didn't know that was going to happen. I went to the funeral, and everybody was making speeches, and I was in the back
Okay.
of the hall, but the family walked up, and they said, you have to get up and say something about Chuck. And when I was talking, he was right in front of me with the open casket and the guitar, and holding the guitar. Oh, my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should have been very emotional.
Oh, my God.
Did you cry?
Of course, right on stage, like a little baby.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself because the greatness, because he came from a time when what was called race music. His music and Little Richard, and we met Little Richard quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And what a crazy guy he was. I invented rock and roll. If it wasn't for me, you know, he was like that. But I have to say that without music, this would be a terrible life.
Oh, yes.
When somebody dies, there's music. When you go to church, there's music. When you want to go out with a girl, even when she's up in the window, you take out your guitar, you start singing something. Yeah. Marriage, music. Funeral, music. Even when the military goes by, there's music.
Yeah, of course. Music. Yeah. The band.
Everything is like that. When you celebrate, if you go to the disco, you do whatever, you see a rock.
Yeah.
Music is, and it's not just people. Animals make music.
Music.
Whales in the water, and dolphins.
The dolphins.
Birds. Everybody. Yeah. Music is all around us. And even if you're not a musician, when you go in the shower, you're writing your own songs.
Yeah.
That's the magic of music.
And
when you feel sad, you put on music and it takes you away. And sometimes when you put on music, if you're alone, you'll cry because the music is so emotional. Yeah.
And that's a way of it's a cathartic thing also, listening to music.
It can touch your heart. And when an artist is special, Jose, or, you know, the greats.
Luis Miguel, you know Luis Miguel?
Oh, of course.
Beautiful voice, it's amazing.
Not only beautiful, but a beautiful man.
It's a beautiful man, yeah.
But that helps for the chicas.
Yeah.
You know, for guys, you know, one of my favorites was Louis Armstrong. You know, who sang like that.
Yeah, of course.
And so, for us, it's not important if a guy is good looking or beautiful, but for the girls,
it is.
If you have a great voice and you say the right words, and then it's everything.
The whole package. The whole package.
And then you want him more because you can never have him.
Of course.
And you will never smell him when he stinks, and you will never see him cheat on you, and you will never see. He's just the perfect man. The perfect man. That's right. Of course. But only.
And you want it there. Stay
only
there.
Only there
please.
in your dreams. That's what. Yes. Stay there always. Yeah.
Stay there, please.
And don't look at any other girl. Just me. Yeah.
Exactly.
I know.
That's so correct. Now, and so that's where your love for music started, when you started listening to this kind of music?
When I first heard Little Richard and Chuck Berry and all the things, I started to, move. It's body music.
Yeah.
When you listen to symphony music, and I love symphonic music, it's just for the ears.
Uh-huh.
Rock and roll and blues,
the whole body.
Especially, not jazz, is body music, especially down there. Makes your hips, start to pump and move back and forth.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I saw the Beatles on television that I finally understood the power of music and what music can do to girls. And then when I saw all the girls on American television going crazy for the Beatles. I said,
want that. You said, I
now
want to be that.
I want that job.
It was not about the music, it was about the girls. Always the girl.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything we do. You know, I wrote a few business books. One of them was Me Inc., Me Incorporated.
I know.
A few of them. And one of the books was about the nature of the power, the enormous power that women have. And it is this: if you live with a girlfriend or if you have a wife, 80% of everything in your place is decided by the woman.
That's
what
correct.
Color should it, that's correct.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's right. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
What kind of car should I drive? She's going to decide. What color is the curtains? She's going to decide. What brand of milk should be in the refrigerator? He has nothing to say about it. Yeah, what are we having for dinner? She'll tell you. Okay. If she feels like making you the food you like, that's what's going to happen. If she doesn't feel like doing it, it's her decision.
You won't have it, yeah.
And if you did something wrong and you don't know about it, she's not going to talk to you.
Yeah,
you can't touch her, talk to her. Even if you ask, what did I do wrong?
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
If you don't know what you did wrong, then I'm not talking.
What's wrong? Nothing. No, the typical, what's wrong? Nothing. But what's going on? Yeah. Nothing. No? Oh, you don't know what's wrong?
We are slow. We're stupid. We just don't know.
But it's all, so your life, it's all about the love for women. That's how your life...
We don't, yes, that's right. We don't know that, but the very first, later on in life, you realize the very first woman, especially little boys' love, was their mother.
Their mother, yeah.
Their first love. And it's the first boob I had in my mouth.
Yeah. After that, we don't know. But
after that, you have to pay for it.
Exactly.
But the first time, first one is free.
Okay. Now, what about your love for money? That's on your genes too, you would say,
well,
because of the
people don't understand money, but poor people do.
Okay.
You know, when people who are not very poor say, "Oh, why do you always talk about money? I only want enough money to get by." And that's not a smart way of thinking about it, because you can always use more money. Your mother needs an operation, or you want to give to the church, or you want to do something. Money is the most important thing. Poor people understand that because they work hard and they do everything just to get money.
Yeah.
So when you see somebody who's very well off and they always keep working all the time.
What do you want money for?
If you love your baby, and if you say love is the most powerful thing in the world, it's a lie. Because if the only thing you give your baby is love, it will die. Before the words and before the love, the first thing your baby needs is food. And the second thing you need is safety, a roof over your head and all that. And as you get older, you need more and more and more. You make enough money to be single, that's fine. You meet a girl, you go out on a date, you take her on dinner, you're gonna pay twice as much for two people. Then you get married, and then you have mortgages and car payments and the house payments, and then when you get divorced, she takes half of everything before you pay tax. You always need more money.
And it's not a bad thing to
even God passes the hat. You go to church and the hat goes around and you have to keep.
Also in the synagogue, not the same way, but also in the synagogue.
Oh, exactly the same way. You always have to give. Well, who's gonna build the temple or the church? Where do you get? You need money.
Do you give money? Do you give money? Do you do any kind of philanthropy?
Well, I don't talk about it, but I support 1,400 kids in Africa, wow. Zambia, Zimbabwe. do pediatric AIDS, which is children born with diseases, the soldiers, of course. And our daughter Sophie has her own charity called Sophie's Place, and she raises a lot of money for it that treats children who have lots of problems. You know, they get abused or they get raped and all that. So Sophie's Place provides them a place to get treated. And without money, you can't help anybody.
That's right. How did you learn to make money? Is that something you have to learn? I mean, you were successful with the band and Gene Simmons and everything.
No, even before that. By the time I was 23, before the band, I saved, after spending all the money, I saved $23,000.
Okay.
And I believe, I know, it's part of a culture. If you have the right kind of culture, you learn the lessons of your culture. So in the culture that I come from, the Judeos, all your mother ever says to you is, I want you to become a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. That's what you learn. Do you have a doctor?
Yes, of course.
What's his name?
Edmundo. I have many doctors.
Predominantly, if you come in North America, sometimes in Europe, there are a lot of Judeo doctors and lawyers.
I know,
they just call them presidents. And that's not an accident, that's culture. So if you go to sports teams, on soccer teams, no Judeos anywhere. Because it's not smart. Because when you play soccer or sports, you have 4 or 5 years to make money. So it's not a smart job. The smart job is something everybody needs. Everybody needs food. Everybody needs clothing. So if you take a look at the fashion houses, Norma Kamali, Calvin Klein, a lot of Jews. If you go into medicine, science, and all kinds of stuff, a lot of Jews. Lawyers, accountants, and everything.
And media?
Farmers, no Jews.
No Jews.
No, because if it doesn't rain, you die. But in media,
it has to rain.
The New York Times, owned by Jews. Hollywood, all Jewish. Wall Street, a lot of Jews. But when you move to, you don't have Jews in factories working in the things, because most important thing is education. Education, that's your power. From the people who gave all the rest of you the 10 Commandments, the Bible, and the New Testament.
That's correct. That's right. Now,
and a God to worship, Rabbi Jesus.
See,
and he was a rabbi.
Yeah, you were going to be a rabbi. Is that correct? That's what I read. Is that true?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, tell me about that. Tell me about that. Do you practice the? No.
You
used to?
I used to, because that was the school.
The yeshiva? You went to a yeshiva or something like that?
I was, yes. I studied to be, when I was 12, and then I started to ask questions that made everybody very angry. And later on, I took theology courses. I studied and read the New Testament. I read the Quran, and we talked about the idea. And so I said to my Episcopalian priest, Church of England, I said, isn't it true that if I wanted to be the best Christian, I would try to follow in the footsteps of Jesus, who was born. There was a real historical figure, as recorded by Josephus Flavius, who worked for the Romans, but was a Jew, but he could write. He kept track of, you can look it up in the Vatican.
Yeah, of course.
And so he kept track of who was crucified, who was a criminal, who didn't pay taxes, and there was a real Jesus. He was born and died. Jesus ben Yosef, Jesus, son of Joseph. That was his name. Christ was never his name. That's a Latin word, which means Messiah or King. Mm-hmm. That's why you call him the Christ or Christ Jesus.
Jesus.
It's like Doctor Jesus. It's a title.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
not a
It's
name.
Rey Jesus.
Not a name. And his mother and father were not Mr. and Mrs. Christ.
No, it's
No,
Jesus.
that's like Presidente. That's like a title.
Exactly.
So
That's what the Christ stands for. That's what you mean.
the Christ means the King or the Messiah.
Yeah.
And so I said, isn't it true if I wanted to be the best Christian, I would try to be just like Jesus? And he said, that's correct. That's the most important thing. That's what we That's what we teach. I said, okay, if I want to be a good Christian, I would never go to church because churches never existed. That was created by the Romans 300 years later.
After.
I would never wear a crucifix because he wasn't crucified yet, and the Romans made that into a religious symbol. I would not even call it Christianity because it was the Turks, probably, who started calling the followers of Jesus Christians from the Latin, the people who believe in that person as the Messiah. In fact, I would be a Jew because all the people in the New Testament that you read in church, all of them, John, James, even Judas Iscariot, they were all Jews. There was no such thing as crucifixes and sons of God.
Everything came after.
There were no nuns. There was nothing. So if you wanted to walk in the footsteps of Jesus and be just like Jesus, you would have to be a Jew.
You have to be a Jew, yeah. And then
he didn't pray when he's he was crucified. That's what it says. Historical
that's history.
Books.
That's history.
Happen, yes. And so supposedly when he said to his father, Abba, Slicha, Father, forgive me. They know in Hebrew, he wasn't speaking Latin. So when you pray in Latin, the Jews in the Middle East never heard of Latin, except the Romans would speak versions. But they all spoke Hebrew or Aramaic.
El Arameo, Aramaic.
Yeah?
Yeah. And then
Which was a combination of Arabic and Hebrew, very close.
But then you went to the yeshiva, I guess you were 12, I guess, for you to do the bar mitzvah, no?
I did get bar mitzvah, yeah.
And then that's why you went to the yeshiva. But what happened after that you wanted to be a rabbi?
I thought, when you go to, when you get religious training, you see the most powerful person is the teacher. That's what a rabbi means. A rabbi is not a religious person. It's somebody who can read. In the old days, people couldn't read, and they would argue, and they would go to the rabbi, the teacher. Jesus was called teacher, my teacher, my rabbi. They could read and tell you what the laws were in the New Testament. The rest of the people just argued and fought. So when I went to temple, I would see everybody listen to the person, the rabbi, who was higher. And I always wanted that power and that attention.
Of course, you wanted to be that teacher. In a religious temple, which is a concert, you have people there. The rock star is the rabbi. Of course, he's a rock star. He's on stage.
And Jesus is a rock star, maybe the biggest rock star.
The biggest one. He is a rock star.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, still today, yeah. So after what happened that changed me, I promise you this is what happened. My mother and I lived together in a one-bedroom, very small place, and my mother worked 6 days a week. And I looked outside the window, and I saw maybe a 12-year-old girl, 13, and she had hair all the way down to her butt, and she was jumping rope. In those days, we called the girl Spanish girls because they spoke Spanish.
Okay,
You never said Latina.
No,
there's no
Spanish.
such thing. And nobody spoke Latin, so there's no Latina.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Spanish.
And she's jumping rope, and the hair is slapping her butt as she's jumping. I said, I think I'm going to go find out what that's about. That looks more interesting than becoming a rabbi.
Much more interesting. So, I asked you before, how did you learn to make money? It's not an easy thing to do. Not everybody knows how to start up.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. It's education, education, education. There's a simple idea. All your friends who want to take you out drinking and not go to school, they're your enemy. Your mother, who tells you to do your schoolwork, stay in school, eat your vegetables, get plenty of work, she's right. Later on, when you grow up and say, well, I should eat vegetables and get plenty of sleep and drink lots of water, and all the stupid things you thought were stupid were actually exactly right. It begins with education. If you can't read or write, what kind of a job are you going to have?
Yeah,
so
that's truth.
You're gonna be picking up people's garbage, and you're gonna be out in the fields, or who knows. But if you can read, you have an advantage. If you can really write, lots of things can open up. Because we need to communicate. Business is about communication, and the rest is having the right thing. That's up to you. Being in the right place. That's up to you. And you have to be at the right time. If you want to sell tacos on a street corner, that's okay. That's a way to make money. You have to learn, how do I make a taco? How much is the cost of the things that go into a taco? And then how much do I have to sell it for to get a profit? Okay, you got the right thing. So now I can make tacos. I have a little bit of money to buy tacos, and I am going to sell it on the top of a mountain where there's nobody there. I have the right thing. I'm in the wrong place. There are no people. But if I move to Mexico City, I have much more chance because I have the right thing, a taco. I'm in the right place, which has millions and millions of people, and I'm going to sell it at 8 o'clock in the morning. No, it's the wrong time. You have the right thing, a taco. You're in Mexico City, and you're not making any money because you're selling tacos at 8 o'clock in the morning. But if you have the right thing, taco in Mexico City at the right place and the right time, which is when they come out for lunch and when they go home, now you're going to make money. And then it's what you do with that money. You must always save 20 to 30% of every dollar you make, and don't spend it. Save it.
Okay.
Save it so you can reinvest in yourself, so that you can have hire somebody else to have a second taco stand. And then you have a brand, Jose's Tacos. And then that's how you build a business. You always save, and when you have enough, look.
I have to read your book.
You know what a squirrel is?
Of course.
Yeah. So squirrels go and they eat nuts. When the nuts fall. Yeah. Do you ever see them eat just one nut? Or do they fill their cheeks and grab as many nuts as they can?
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do.
And then the ones they can't eat, they bury in the ground, right?
Yeah.
Because they know winter is going to come and there won't be any more nuts.
And they're going to need them.
They survive. Yes. They're going to need it for the little squirrel niños and the niñas, and they're going to need it if they want to jump on top of a female squirrel, you better give her a nut. So if a squirrel knows what to do with its nuts, how come men don't?
Yeah. I have to read your book. I'm not very good.
When I give my dog a bone or something, it plays on it, and then it goes and buries it and saves it for later. Even dogs know how to save. People don't.
People don't. Yeah.
Did I just see you smoke? Are you smoking?
I'm vaping.
That's worse.
But I quit smoking, so I need something.
But vaping is 10 times worse than smoking.
Okay.
No, you look it up.
I know.
You're better off smoking than vaping.
Let's please not talk about that.
It's very serious.
No, I know it's a very serious matter. I know. I'm trying. I'm doing my best to quit.
A long time ago, a very smart person said, "Trying is a bullshit word." and I'll explain to you, and they explained to me why, and I said, that's right. When somebody says they can't stop, what happens if the doctor says the next puff of smoke you take
You're gonna
will stop
die.
your heart, your tits will fall off, and you'll die?
You quit. You stop.
Most of the you not only that, but like that.
Yeah. There's not
And
gonna
that's the
be
answer.
next puff.
That's why I'm trying is a bullshit word. It means I don't want to.
Yeah, that's what it means.
But I don't want to.
I don't want to.
But when or if you, and I hope it never happens, you ever get cancer, then it's too late. And then you die slowly, and it eats you from the inside, and every day is pain until you die.
I know. Your mother...
You know that, but you still, maybe I'll try.
Okay, I don't want to.
That's the answer.
Yeah, that's the answer. You were very close to your mother. I want to talk about politics, but just let me ask, you were very close to your mother till the end?
Till she was 94 years old. When she was 14, my mother was in a concentration camp in Nazi Germany, yeah. And everything I learned
was from her.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
How you see life, they don't teach you that in school. Wisdom comes from your mother, which is, what are the important things in life? It's not learning about Pizarro or Cortés or, all the other important historical things about here and there. That's just information. It doesn't help you understand what life is about. That's wisdom. And only your mother can do that. And, in certain cultures, they're called the elder. Old people are respected and admired because they have lived life. So they have things to teach you.
Of course.
And in Western culture, old people are just in the way, shut up, the old guy. And it's very stupid because they have so much knowledge about life and we're ignoring them. All schools should have old people come in and tell the little
to them, right?
niños about their life, because you won't read that in a book.
Yeah.
So everything without my mother, I'm nothing. I am Obama's boy, even to this day.
And she was like a typical Jewish mother?
She was a typical Jewish mother and father. Because her job was...
That's exactly what happened to me. My mother, she was mother and father, Jewish mother and father.
But it doesn't have to be Jewish. It could be Catholic.
Of course.
By the way, you're not allowed to say Catholic. You must always say Roman Catholic, because in 315 AD at the Council of Nicaea, Caesar Constantine in Constantinople passed the law.
Yeah.
That's where they put together the New Testament and everything. And so...
Well, many Mexican women are mother and father. Many.
The mothers are everything in a family. They give life, they give birth, and while the fathers are off doing stupid things, the mothers are there keeping the family together.
Was she proud of you all the time?
Yeah. You're kidding. Every day when I go to the mirror to shave or do something, right in back of me, there's a big photo of my mother and I. And so even when I'm looking in the mirror, I see my mother the whole time.
Yeah.
She's always with me.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And when she went to your concerts and everything, the first time she saw you doing whatever you do on stage, what did she say?
I had somebody go with my mother the whole time. Every time she went to the concerts, security and everything. And they would tell me that, the concert is really loud and there are lots of explosions and everything happens. And the security guy would want to talk to my mother, and she would take her elbow and go like that.
Let me listen.
My son is like. She would tell them to shut up. Of course, you can't hear anything, and the world is exploding. And he would say, "Do you want to go?" My son is up. Yeah.
That's what a mother does.
Everybody would tell me that.
Yeah.
I would bring guests, security. The police would go with my mother. They were not allowed to talk.
Oh, so beautiful, so beautiful. Now, tell me about Trump and Biden. Why did you support Trump? What did you see in him?
I did not support anyone, but I did believe. I knew Trump before.
Yeah.
Socially, and I also did his TV show, but I knew him a little bit. And I believed, and I still believe, that politics is what runs a country. And I believe that business should run a country, not politics. Whatever gives people more jobs and gives them more money should be the thing, not what you want to argue with. So I thought Trump was going to be a change because he was a businessman.
Okay.
And the problem was that, there was a book called The Prince by an Italian named Machiavelli. And in the book, it was about a prince who was not a prince. And then he became so powerful that the power corrupted him. He became a Jekyll and Hyde. The problem with Trump was that person that became president is not the same guy who was going out to clubs with me or doing something. He started to lie and just say really, really bad things. And that's not a person who should be president. A president should be giving, not taking. Should be giving back to people things that make their life better, not separating them and causing hatred to come up. So America, especially, has become very polarized. Either you believe in Trump or you don't, and that's
also
a problem.
Also in our country, yeah.
It's a big problem. Always remember the peso has two different sides. Each one is just as important as the other one, and each of them can say, I'm a peso. That's okay. The person who disagrees with you in Mexico, he can say, he or she, or sometimes he, she, can say, I'm a Mexicano, and you can't take that away from me. And everybody should be able to say that proudly. So my advice to everybody, when you go to the movies or when you get together with a family, don't talk politics.
Don't talk politics.
And in America, when you vote, you draw the curtain because it's nobody's business who you're going to vote for. That's your personal choice.
Yeah, that's true. And what do you think of Biden?
It's time for him to get off the stage. He's too old now. It doesn't.
Do you think he's not strong enough, or
no? Physically and mentally, it's over.
Okay. Now, how's your health? How do you feel?
Fantastic.
You see, that's what I can see. That's exactly what I can see. Now,
because today it's raining. Shannon and I were going to get up and walk, 3 to 6 miles. We try to do it almost every day.
Almost every day? And it's raining in LA?
Sure, we have hills over here.
No, but is it raining?
Today it's raining, yeah. So it's not a good idea.
We go with our dogs, right? It's been cold in LA. It's been a little bit cold in LA. My daughter lives there, and she says it's cold.
You have a daughter? You're 12 years old.
Hi, come on. Thank you, Gene. You want to have a tequila with? Oh, you don't drink. Not even a sip of wine. Nothing.
Well, of course, when there's a wedding or something, and I go to there, I take a little sip.
The L'chaim, of course.
Yeah, which means. That's my Hebrew name, which means to life.
To life.
That's the best cheer.
What's your Hebrew name?
Chaim.
Chaim? Oh, great.
Which means life.
It
when
means
you see
life.
some Jews walking around with a symbol that goes achai.
Exactly, the high.
This-
Yeah.
Yeah, that symbol literally is my name, but it also means life.
Okay.
Because if the most important thing to Judeos and people who were poor and who were the original Indians, who lived in before the Europeans came to Mexico and up and down, they were killed. They were killed all the time. So what's the most important thing? Life.
Chaim. That's true. When did the tongue thing started? Is it true?
I was 12 years old.
Okay.
And they always put me in the back because I was the tallest in the class.
Okay.
And now our son, I'm 6'2". Our son is 6'8".
No kidding. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
He's the tallest one. Sophie is about 5'9". Shannon's about 6 feet tall. I'm 6'2". Nick is 6'8".
Wow.
So when I would always make funny faces because I wanted the attention of the girls.
Okay.
And when I was about 12, I started to notice that some of the girls in front of me would turn around. They go, hey, Gene, do that thing with your tongue. And I thought they meant, move it around. Move it around because it's funny and it looks like a clown. And sure enough, I would stick my tongue out and wiggle it, and they would go, like turkeys before you cut their head off. and I couldn't imagine that what they were thinking about was maybe what they heard. That my tongue down there, I never imagined that's what they were thinking.
That they were meaning another thing.
So very early on, I became very popular with all the girls. They would, the girls would be on one side and the boys would be there, and the girls, they'd point at that guy. And I thought, I'm wearing something nice today. No.
It was the tongue.
Yeah.
And then
I would stick it out, but the floor is dirty.
Right now, but show me a little bit, just something. The tip of your tongue. Ay. Bravo.
Wait.
Okay. No. Aplausos. That you learned since you were little? You knew how to do all that with your tongue?
No. You have to practice.
Yeah, you have to practice to do that. Of course. So, Gene, I know you have to go, and maybe we can get together in the near future and talk longer whenever you say, wherever you say. I would love to travel and get together.
I want to say once again, and thank you for your time, is we are so much looking forward to going to Mexico City. We have so much fun there, and we've met so many wonderful fans. And we can't wait to see you all.
Yeah, it's going to be on Sunday.
In a few days.
Sunday, yeah. Today, Sunday. So, Sunday, December 4th. Yeah, it's December 4th, this Sunday. Tickets online. So, it's going to be great to go and see you. Thank you so much for your time. Really, thank you very much. And I send you a very big kiss.
Muchas gracias. De nada.
Gracias. Lechaim. Gracias. Toda rabba.
Very good.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.